A big what?
Beth Rigsby. I think you should
Beth
take.
Rigby?
Yeah, I think you should take her place.
I should take her
because you're
place.
looking for a gotcha moment, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm
I
not.
think you are.
I'm not. I'm just trying to like have a debate. Like you guys are all about free speech, right? So you
Yes.
have to answer the question.
Well, I'm saying it, and you're answering it. So that's free speech.
Yeah. And that's fine, right?
I'm just giving my view, and you're giving your view.
Yeah. So that
What's wrong with that?
nothing. But some people would say that, like what Tommy Robinson's promoting, that's quite extremist.
You've been brainwashed. You've just been brainwashed in college, university. You can't back it up. None of you.
You find some evidence of that, and then we might listen to you, but you can't.
You can't.
You're just following slogans that you've heard.
You're following a narrative, and that's it. You're talking about what do they call it? What do they call it? Not Islam. It's radical Islam. He's talking about radical Islam. It was taken over the country, basically. A lot of all advances come from that end. We keep being called a far right. Well, if you look at an arc, right, and in the middle of the arc, right, there's the left, there's the right. The Labour Party and the Tory Party is just that far to the left. Any further left than that is called far right. We're not even in the middle.
Okay, we're marching today because we think fighting racism and fascism is really, really important in society today. We saw over the last few years, but particularly on the run-up to the election, the way the Tories tried to scapegoat refugees and asylum seekers in particular, and they were doing that to divide us and to try and make us blame them for the problems that the Tories had caused, like the cost of living crisis. We think it's really important that actually we unite, come together, black and white, stand up and say no to racism and no to fascism.
There were 2 demonstrations in central London on Saturday. Tommy Robinson drew thousands to Trafalgar Square for what he said was a rally for patriots. Just up the road, anti-racism campaigners marched in protest and in solidarity with refugees. We understand some of the opinions in this film may offend some viewers. Peeps presents them to understand what guides Tommy Robinson's supporters, and with challenge from our reporters.
We've accepted loads of people in our country, and we're not anything that they say that we are.
Yeah,
we're just normal people, and I've had a lovely life, and my mum has, on Britain when it was before, and then now it's gone. It's like they're not listening to us anymore.
How have you experienced that being taken away from you?
Well, I haven't yet, but I feel sorry for the children because they won't have what I had. I had a lovely life. Freedom of speech. You could say whatever you wanted. Jokes. There was a lot of joking around. Everyone joked, and everyone took the joke. It was just all messing about and laughing. And now it's like you can't wear what you want. You've got to be so worried about getting what you say. Everything's stopping you to say anything, even little minuscule, and you're getting done for hate speech.
Why? What would you like? What would you like to be able to say that you feel like you can't?
Even anything. You can't even say certain words, can you, without it sounding racist, and it's not racist. You're just talking about something or whatever it is, and you're not allowed to say it, are you? So it's not right.
How does that impact your life?
It doesn't really, but I think life is about having a laugh and joking, and yet sometimes you can't even make a joke.
Have you recently been to university, colleges?
Yeah, I've been to university.
Brainwashed, as you know, as you very well know, they've been brainwashed by the professors and what do they call it, lecturers.
So you think I've been brainwashed?
Possibly. The very questions that you were asking me tells me that. At the university and the college, all you'll see is Palestinian flags. You don't see no English flags there. It's all Palestinian. A lot of them are useful idiots, because if Islam ever took over this country, they'd be the first to be killed.
Sorry, say that again?
Like gay people, all the rest of them would be first to be killed if Islam ever took over this country.
The country I've seen, I'm 60-year-old, so I've been around a few miles, and the change in it, and especially in the last 10, 15 years, it's just dropped. The standard of this country has dropped.
And what do you put that down to?
The overall part of it for me is politics. The politicians. They've allowed all this to happen when they shouldn't have done.
What have they allowed to happen?
They've just allowed all the immigrants just coming on the boats instead of sending them back over. That's what used to happen.
Do you think that's the main problem? You don't think it's like the economy, it's not lack of investment in public services?
That don't help the economy, does it? Because all it's doing is drumming the system. They're getting housed when, like, the likes of English people and even immigrants from past years are being left out. All these immigrants that are coming over on the boats, they're getting all the properties. They're getting put up, given everything for nixers.
I mean, if people are coming over on boats, right, it's quite a dangerous journey, would you agree?
Yeah, no issues there. No issues there,
but they'd only be doing that if they were desperate.
Well, yeah, but would they? I mean, you look at what's going on around and you've only got to look on the news, and the news don't report everything that's right, okay? They'll dramatise it, they'll make it what they want it to be. The real facts are that you see it on your YouTubes, you see it on your TikToks, you see it on all social media sites, right? They go for, like, a takeover throw, if you like. They want the Sharia law. Well, you can't go live in their country, yeah, and live under English law. They won't have it. But they expect us to allow it to happen.
How does that affect you in Tunbridge Wells?
Well, it affects everyone all over the country, doesn't it, in the end?
But like your life?
My life, I don't let it bother me. I really don't let it bother me. I couldn't give a flying rat's tail.
So why are you here?
Why am I here? I've never done a rally. I've worked 7 days a week all my life, pretty much. And for the first time in my life, I come out of intensive care on Monday, and I thought, you know what? Never done it. I'm going to do it.
Because people can't get a house, because people are working on minimum wage. Tommy Robinson tells them that immigrants are taking your houses. Really, it's the government that sold off all the council houses and aren't building them. So people know that they can't get a house, they know that they're on minimum wage, and it's nice and easy to blame it on somebody else.
A lot of people might describe his supporters, have this idea that his supporters are like fascists, racists. How does that make you feel if you're use those words used to describe you?
Well, I know what I am, and I don't mind what people think I am. I know my own heart. I've got 2 beautiful sons that I'm raising to be great men, and so that doesn't bother me at all. I have had some experience growing communities, and I think what happens in a community is you can't police it all. Sometimes it comes so big that you have people come in from all angles, and some are more severe than others in their beliefs, and it's very difficult to control everyone, especially human beings. And I think when you throw into that mix that, you know, at the beginning Tommy did create the English Defence League, and that went in a direction he didn't like, and he separated from it, you can understand why there's still remnants of that. But I think, you know, you've got to also understand that humans can be extreme things, like extreme beings. So when we're talking about things that people perceive that threaten their family, their culture, you know, their way of being, some people are more developed spiritually and mentally than others. Some people will remain peaceful and tackle that intellectually, and some people will go, ape shit and do something else, wouldn't they?
Do you feel like your way of life is under attack?
I am very privileged in the sense that I live in a part of the world that hasn't had a lot of, you know, the Islamic immigration. So I'm not feeling...
So it's a privilege to live in a community without Muslims, is that what you're saying?
I'm privileged to live in a community that I live in that isn't affected by another culture. It's nothing wrong with being from Britain, admiring your culture, right, and wanting that to remain that culture. That's not racist, it's not Islamophobic, it's just, I grew up in my country and I love it, right, and what I don't want is to fulfil that culture's being threatened. So I think that's always best done peacefully, and I think that's always best done with conversation, and I think it's always best done in good time so the best outcome can happen for all people. What I don't think is a good idea is you leave it till it goes to boiling point and then extreme things happen, because then that's just not an outcome that anyone wants.
Tommy Robinson up there, right, and you got on the radio, you got James O'Brien. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
James O'Brien came out and said, oh, Trump nearly got shot, right? pity no one finished the job. And he said, joking. He says, no, I changed my mind. That's right. If Tommy Robinson said that, they'd be arrested and thrown in prison. But he didn't get anything. Didn't say nothing. Because it doesn't follow the narrative. You see the difference? He wouldn't say anything like that, but James O'Brien can spit it out on the radio as if it was nothing.
What do you want in an ideal world?
In an ideal world, like everybody, peace, harmony, tranquility.
And you think this is bringing peace?
No, it's not bringing peace, but at the end of the day, like everything, to bring peace, or hopefully bring peace, you've got to have an upset, yeah? The upset's been started both sides of the fence. I'm not saying it's one side or the other. It's both sides of the fence that the upset's come from. So where are you going to draw the stalemate from? You're not. It's going to end up in calamity. 100% going to end up in calamity. And I blame politics for it. Politics and religion, always. Two biggest killers of the world, all the way through. And I've never liked politics and I've never liked religion.
Okay, so we've just been at the Tommy Robinson protest where loads of people are gathered in Trafalgar Square and they say they're there to sort of hold up British values and show their support and take back their country, whatever that means. We've spoken to some of them. I mean, they've often been called fascists and racists, and they heavily dispute that. Although, obviously, Tommy Robinson has previously likened Islam to a cancer, previously, called for all Muslims over the age of 25 to be deported. Now, only about 400 metres down the road is an anti-Tommy Robinson protest going on.
And I've been opposing Tommy Robinson demonstrations for years, and on many occasions I've seen his supporters doing Hitler salutes in London streets where we had the Blitz in the 1940s, and I do not want that on our streets again.
I believe that we need to stand up for the right thing, and often when we are silent we are complicit. So we do need to stand up, we need to show up, and need to show that there is no place for racism, there's no place for fascism in this country or anywhere else, and we should stand united.
I think there'll be a mix of people there. He's obviously appealed to reform voters to try and get them to come and support him. There will be some people who, like Tommy Robinson, are hardline fascists, which is what he is, but there will also be people who think that the problem is immigration but aren't necessarily fascists. And to those people we would say actually the problems are people like Nigel Farage. He's not a man of the people, he's an ex-city banker, he's very rich but tries to tell us what it's like, tries to make out he's a working class hero. Actually, we want to say that there is enough money around, that we could have decent services, but the rich need to be taxed to try and get that money redistributed.
The politics of 14 years of a Tory government is what kind of led us to this stage. There is discontent, there is people living in poverty, there are people that don't have a way of surviving, and it's easier to blame those that are different than it is to blame politicians. That it's easy to say the fault is of those that come, that actually we are on the same boat, that probably we have more in common that will divide us, but it is easier to spout that because they are different, they are here to take what is yours.
I think the right-wingers wanted an alternative to the Tory party, basically. Like, for years I've said, what's the point in UKIP and parties like that when you've got the Tories? Well, now the Tories are gone, they're sneaking in. They're trying to take over the role the Tories had. Read a history book. Just read a book. Learn something. Stop listening to idiots like Tommy Robinson and read a book.
I think that it's encouraged by racist rhetoric at the top. I'm disappointed in Starmer, and that is one of the first things he said is about how he's going to deport people. Really, what he should be doing is welcoming them. We need more workers. We've got a demographic problem with more old people. We need workers. We need and want immigrants. So I think it's disappointing when even Labour pander to the racists like that. But I don't think generally people are.
It is not the refugee that comes to claim benefits, because that's not what happens. That's not the reality. The reality is that there is a capitalist society that we live on, that we should probably abolish or find a different narrative. And because of that capitalist society, we have the idea of scarcity, and we are fighting for resources. And when you fight, there is usually a winner and a loser. And the winners at the moment are people that have loads of money and are able to generate even more money because they have more money. And we are here fighting with each other. I probably have more in common in terms of my struggles with a Tommy Robinson supporter that I will have with a rich person. We just have different ideas of going about it, and we should kind of bring those people and talk with them and be like, I'm the same as you, and we should unite together.